Big Cam Franklin from Mississippi, Lake Cormorant, Mississippi. He visited a couple weeks ago. And he also took an unofficial for an elite recruit day in January. So he is actually back on campus right now. He is probably going to be the biggest name player who is going to participate in drills at tomorrow's Legends Camp. So he is back for a second unofficial visit. He's going to work with Joe Salavea and Jason Taylor on field. And, you know, most of these elite camps are more features for the next recruiting class now, because with summer visits and early signing period, it's changed. So if you remember the first, like, you know, the couple Paradise camps at the beginning when that started under Mark Richt had more talent than Nike's the opening. I mean, it was just, I mean, dudes with All-Americans all over the place, NFL players. I mean, a lot of them, unfortunately, you know, went somewhere other than Miami. But, I mean, you're talking Alex Leatherwood dominated, you know, who was it? I mean, just, yeah, like all kinds of Devontae Smith at two of them, Jaden Hazelwood, you know what I mean? Just like superstar, five-star recruits and of the current cycle at the time were the focus. Now you're probably going to get some guys who, you know, are really looking for to add to their profile to get an offer, or somebody like Cam Franklin who's like, hey, I'm going to take the opportunity to actually work out with these coaches, maybe develop my technique, but also see, hey, you know, are these guys that I can work with moving forward? And it's going to be very selected. So he'll be on campus, you know, maybe through today is Wednesday, and then, you know, tomorrow's camp, and then leaving after that, you know, drive back to Mississippi. But yeah, so he won't be here for the weekend. But again, if you follow the visits, this is now 2 recruit paid, not unofficials, on top of an official that was only 2 weeks ago. So Miami is definitely in the game there. Still some, you know, closing work to be done and everything, but like this bodes well. And he canceled an LSU official visit, and then is making the choice to come down on his own dime, for another unofficial with the camp participation at Miami, which, you know, again, for a high 4-star, you know, potential borderline 5-star recruit to do is pretty significant. So, you know, we'll look at that. But in terms of the official visitors, I mean, it's again, a loaded group. I'm not even going to delay or anything like that any further. Leading off the list for this weekend, not right now, so this is something that has changed since the last time we talked, but now visiting this weekend, number 1 wide receiver, number 1 in the state of Florida, number 3 overall national, Jeremiah Smith, 6'3", 200 from Chaminade, Madonna, committed to Ohio State, a generational prospect. I mean, there are people who are saying that he's the best prospect at the position from down here in, you know, a decade or more. Geno Smith's cousin, just an absolute monster. And, you know, Miami is taking the wait and see approach, kind of in the Jaden Hazelwood sweepstakes kind of a way. I don't think that there's a hidden school for Jeremiah Smith that there was for Jaden Hazelwood, because remember, he was committed to Georgia and he was all about Georgia and flirting with some other schools. And then he posted pictures from 5 years old wearing his father's Oklahoma jersey. It was like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I was laughing at y'all the whole entire time. Like, I wasn't going where I was committed. I wasn't going where I was visiting a lot. I'm going here. What are y'all talking about? I don't think that there's a secret hidden school in the same kind of a way. I do think, from what the understood engagement was at the time with Jaden Hazelwood, any recruiting chance, and if there's a chance, it is infinitesimally small. But any chance with Jeremiah Smith depends on 9 or more wins this season. I mean, it is really just, you have to jump down to the last recruiting rule, and that win, hit that, repeat against good teams, against talented teams this fall many times. You know, a 7-win season, it ain't going to cut it, you know, in terms of this recruitment. And I'm not even saying, oh, well, if it's an 11-win season, is he coming? I don't even think so. Like, this might be a recruitment that just Miami cannot win, to be perfectly honest, which sucks. But, you know, getting him on campus is key. And then hopefully you're able to get him around campus some more moving forward. But, I mean, when you're talking about a top 5 player nationally, top 1 at his position, obviously that's an elite player. Jalen Hayward from Rockledge.
Sorry, Cam. So I'll interrupt there just because Are you saying that based on what's come out of Jeremiah Smith's mouth, or
No, putting things together. I mean, he's not said like, he maintains that he's committed to Ohio State, and like you do. But like reading tea leaves, seeing other people's reports and you know things, the usual stuff. But I think it's going to be a very challenging path forward for Miami to try to lock that down. And especially when you consider, you know, Hardline's there. He's not even just a wide receivers coach now. He's the named OC. Everybody he's developed, everybody's put in the league, like all of those kind of things, and everything. It's you got real yeoman's work to do to tear that down. So I mean, we're in it. Maybe you got a puncher's chance. Maybe they drop that left, or they leave that jab out there and you step around it and hit. Maybe, but like it's going to be an uphill battle for Jeremiah Smith, and I mean that's been well known. Jalen Hayward from Rockledge, committed to Georgia, 6 feet 180, listed as a safety, but I think Miami's looking at him as a corner. He's a guy who Miami's been pushing for pretty strongly recently, and he's coming down for a visit. Top 60 overall player, top 10 in state, top 3 at his position. Again, listed at safety, but Miami is looking at him at corner. And he's listening, but again, he's committed to Georgia, the big bad boys on the block right now. Going for their third straight national championship. So it will be tough along that path, but Miami continues to chip away. And Jamil Adai, the DB's coach, was previously a coach at Georgia, so if anybody can do it, maybe he could. Caleb Odom from Carrollton, Georgia, 6'5", 215 at wide, like a big move tight end from Carrollton, Georgia. He is, I mean, you want to talk about like a guy who looks like another guy, in terms of loft and looking like Brevin Jordan, a little bit of a taller David Njoku kind of a thing. Like an explosive player at that wide tight end move position. He has to be way up on the board. So he's a guy that Miami is bringing in. Marquise Lightfoot, a 4-star defensive end edge from Chicago, Kenwood Academy, 6'5", 220. He's ranked number 70 in the country right now. He's another 4-star that you're bringing in and leaning on Jason Taylor to begin to really cement his chops as a recruiter as you bring him in. Isendre Afua, a big 6'4", 310 offensive guard. I think he might be bigger than 310 pounds, to be honest, but that's what he's listed at right now. He's from Seattle O'Dea High School, so going back to the West Coast. And obviously you're going to lean on guys like Jaden Wayne. You're going to lean on guys like Francis Maugoa, Riley Williams from the Pacific Northwest that Miami was able to lock down the last recruiting cycle to try to pave the way for Afua as he comes down as well. Xavier Mincy, a big safety from Daytona Mainland, is making his way down. And again, you're looking for size and speed at every position, 6'3", 180 pounds as a safety. Playing for one of the better programs in the state of Florida is great. Artavius Jones is a big jumbo athlete at 6'3", 280 from Bluntstown, which is kind of in the panhandle going towards Tallahassee. He's a guy who's an athletic freak who could really profile well at a number of positions along the line. We're, kind of debating that. I mean, some people say he could be like an all-American center. Some people are saying, put him at defensive tackle with his athletic profile. So there's a guy like that. Chris Cole from Virginia is a down-the-line relation to, I forget which hurricane he's related to. Shoot. Rohan Marley or somebody like that down the line, I believe. 6'3", 210 at a linebacker, 4-star. He's a guy that we're bringing in and looking to make a move with as we continue to try to, flip the linebacker room. Ricky Knight from Cardinal Newman in West Palm is a 4-star running back or athlete, could profile at running back or corner. He's visited a bunch of Power 5 teams recently. Ja'Cory Barney is another athlete from Miami Palmetto who's a wide receiver. But, if you remember that name, that's the Brashard Smith, Leonard Taylor, Palmetto. Also, Robbie Washington, Robbie and Bobby transferred over to Palmetto He's a receiver that we're looking at who has kind of skyrocketed through his 7-on-7 and camp in-person performances this offseason. So Kendall Jackson that was the next one, from Gainesville Buckholz High School, 6'4", 250 edge, is a guy that we're bringing in. Rydarius Morgan from Phoenix City Central in Alabama is a safety that we're bringing in. Zuri Madison, a big offensive lineman, 6'5", 305 from Lexington, Kentucky. Frederick Douglass is coming down. Also, Romanus Frederic, corner from St. Thomas Aquinas, is on the list. And on top of all of those guys, a bunch of the current commits. So 4-star Chance Robinson, who has been linked to Florida and others. So Miami looking to lock that down. Isaiah Thomas from Clearwater Academy International. Dylan Day from Baton Rouge Southern Lab. Juan Manaya from Paramus Catholic. The quarterback in this class presently, 6'6" Judd Anderson from Jones County, Georgia. And the nation's #1 ranked kicker, Abram Murray from Shreveport, Louisiana. So all of those dudes you have on campus. So you're going to leverage current commits to hopefully recruit, some of the uncommitted dudes, and really just, try to knock it out of the park. But there are a lot of very talented guys. Even when you look at some guys who could raise their profile moving forward, but then also you got the #3 player in the country coming in this weekend on top of these 4 stars and 5 stars, have previously visited, and a guy like Big Cam Franklin, who has visited multiple times previously, is like, yo, let me come back for Legends Camp this weekend and then move forward. So yeah, it's a really stacked weekend. This is another weekend where Miami is going to be really all hands on deck. It'll be interesting to see who hosts whom in terms of all of the recruits and whatnot, and what moves can be made. But this is another foundational week where a strong visit weekend can maybe not close the deal, but change the tide that is currently, happening, maybe in a couple of recruitments or situations, particularly like a Chance Robinson, who's hey, maybe I want to go to Penn State. Maybe I want to go to Florida. As he's visited these other places, and those beat writers have had conversations with him that have been positive for those other institutions. But Miami looking to just go back and lock that down, and then some other situations, obviously, with guys committed to Ohio State and Georgia, at premium positions you're looking at. But a big recruiting weekend. So I mean, pretty much starting today, from all the way through Sunday, is really just all gas, no breaks for this entire staff, the recruiting staff, administrative staff, coaching staff, everybody, because you're preparing for tomorrow's Legends Camp. And I mean, obviously that's probably not even from what I'm talking, they've already been on that, you know what I mean? So you're preparing for a very, very high-end recruiting event, and then 20 official visitors at present, which again could change. You could add a couple, could lose a couple off that list, but yeah, a bunch of guys coming down. So continue to be excited, continue to just kind of trust this process of laying the foundation to build towards a very top end class, which I still believe Miami is going to have in the end.